So, why did I wait until my mom died before I started sharing stories about my childhood or anything like that? And my mother's reaction. It started in the most innocent way. Well, innocent to me and horrible to her. What do I mean? So, my mother was married 3 times. Her last husband, because she's passed, was married to her from right before I turned 6 until her death. I just had a lot of dads up front. And my middle father, which is what my husband coined him many years ago, he and I reconnected when I was an adult. And we would meet him when we go see my husband's parents. We would meet him in Lodi and we'd have lunch with him and his wife, who was lovely. And he adored my kids. This is primarily when I only had two. And my daughter loved him. My son loved him too. But my daughter he's the best. He's everything. And so she's probably about maybe 4 years old. And so clearly at this point, I'm pregnant with my last child probably, and I have three. And she looks at me one day and goes, Mom, probably Mama, that's what she calls me even now. When am I going to get another dad? And I looked at her and went, what? Well, you have three. And let's be clear. The middle one's the best one type thing. You have three and there's presents and I like it. And I said, so do you not want to live with daddy anymore? And she's like, whoa, what are you talking about, crazy lady? And so she was very clear of like, if I like this dad, the next dad's going to be even better because that's how moms are. And she didn't realize that you don't get to have all the dads at the same time because she was not familiar with the concept of divorce yet. She's a toddler. We're barely lucky she was able to have all her words to explain all what she did want. And so I thought this was hilarious. And I've had a site called nerdfamily.com for a very long time. And I wrote this out. And I did not write it in any kind of throwing my mother under the bus. It was purely from the viewpoint of children like me who come from divorce, who I was very familiar with divorce as early as I can remember, having children who are not familiar with divorce and trying to translate that to them in the least damaging way possible. And it was funny. I thought it was hilarious. I get a call from my mother going, how dare you tell people I was married 3 times? I never put her name out there. I never talked trash about any of them. This was clearly all written from an amusing viewpoint of my kid. And she reamed me out a good one about how I was outing her dirty business and I was telling family business and what if she told people what a horrible person I was and blah, 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 blah. That I don't think I was wrong. I don't think I was wrong in the least. You can feel free to go over to nerdfamily.com. You can Google all that. And, but her reaction was so vitriolic, was so bitter. All I could think is, you think people judge you for that? Just wait till they know what you actually did. And I did tell her, let's be clear, your marriages are public record. Public record. If you didn't want me to ever say that I had 3 dads, you should have just married and this is what I was starting to get brazen. And I'm telling her this on the phone. I only had 1 dad, I wouldn't have anything to talk about. Come on. This isn't my fault. This is my life. And I just realized how much everything I said and did, she was going to take on as her own offense. And so at that point, I was just starting to write on the internet. I was just starting to talk about things. I just decided, be they Bible study points, be they devotional things or anything, I was going to avoid anything that had to do with my mom. Because that wasn't the only time she freaked out. And the next time was even less. But that's another story for another day. Bye.